Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Robot Damashii, Robot Spirits, Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode number 159. This is the new version of this guy. I think the old one was maybe 051, I want to say, but I could be wrong. Either way, I think that one was the full action version. This one is the full armor version. If I have that reversed, just check the title of the video. I'll check before I upload that. But this is the newest version, and he is pretty darn cool. I have to say, I think I like the Banshee Destroy Mode a little bit better. They're mostly the same figure, but that one just has kind of a cooler look, in my opinion. So either way, it's about the same figure, and I'm gonna stop saying either way sometime soon, hopefully. So this is the base figure with nothing added to him. We will take a look at the accessories, but first I just want to show you the core figure. He's molded in all white, aside from the few parts that are in this kind of gunmetal color. The elbows are a darker gunmetal. Looks like the neck is that color as well. Then we have this lighter gunmetal, which I don't know if it's showing up, but it's got some really nice metal flake look to it. It's there on the torso and up there on the upper part of the chest there. Then we have the various dark gunmetal in the knees, light gunmetal there and there. And then the feet have almost a bluish hue to them. I think the older version might have been a little bit lighter blue, or at least it was in the proto pictures, but it does look good either way. And then for the head, we have the red added in. We have the green eyes, we have the gunmetal guns up there. Then we have the yellow V-fin, which has the white on the back, which is intentional because it opens up from the solid white unicorn. Then we have the green on the back. All of the red parts are painted in, I believe. I don't think any of them are molded. They do have a really nice metallic color to them, metal flake. Some of them could have been painted a little bit better, I think, especially like on the edges. You can see on that thigh piece there, we have a little bit of white showing through. So it's not as clean looking as the Banshee was. I don't remember that being an issue for the Banshee and the gold, but I almost said either way again. Bad habit. It looks good regardless. It looks really, really good. The red is really nice and shiny, and it's a nice contrast to the white. As far as articulation goes, the head on top of the neck, there goes the V-fin, we'll take that off. The head on top of the neck, can I pop it off? Not too easily. It looks like it's a standard ball peg on top of the neck there for the head to move around. And the neck is on what I believe is just another ball peg. I don't think there's a hinge in there anywhere, but he does have pretty good range of motion. Aside from these kind of chin guards bumping up against his chest, he does have pretty good range of motion, and you can pose the head fairly well. Doesn't look up quite as well as I'd like, but otherwise it's pretty good. We'll pop that V-fin back on there, if I can do it. Get on. There we go. Alright, the V-fin is a rigid plastic, so we have to be careful with that. The Unicorn, or the Banshee, had a hard one and a soft one. Both of this guy's V-fins are hard. So we'll talk about that when we get to the accessories. The shoulder has that expanding shoulder joint, so it can kind of pull out a little bit to give you a little bit better range of motion. There's just a single ball peg there, standard ball peg in that socket. Then we have the hinge for the shoulder itself that lets the arm go up and down, and the hinge for the shoulder armor. So those are independent of each other, so that's pretty nice. Of course, that can swivel all the way around. We have a bicep swivel underneath that hinge. We have a double jointed elbow, which gives us really good range of motion, and it doesn't look really too bad from any way. Even directly dead on, it doesn't look so bad, so I like that. And then if you don't want that gap there, you can just push it back in and it hides very nicely. Pop it out, you get better range of motion all the way around. So it's pretty nice engineering. The wrist is on double ball peg, it looks like, and then the hand can just peg onto there because it's interchangeable. Pretty good range of motion out of that. I've seen worse by far, so that's pretty nice. We do have a hinge right here, and that is for use with the accessories, so we'll get to that later. The torso does have an ab crunch. It doesn't bend as far forward as I would like, or as far back, but it does function, so I do appreciate that. Side to side, we only get that in the lower articulation, but that's okay by me. It does also have a little bit more lean down there as well. And then lastly, we do have a waist swivel down there at the lower waist, so that's pretty good. And I love the way the ab crunch tucks in through that gunmetal part with the white. It's just a really nice effect. Mine looks like it's slightly off center, but that's probably just a fluke. Alright, so then we have the skirt armor. Standard ball pegs for the front, for the side, and for the back. Really nothing new there. If you are at all familiar with the Robot Damashii line, that's fairly common. Same thing for the hips, it's a standard ball peg. I have seen designs that are a little bit better. Which one was that? Maybe the, was it the Strike? I don't remember. The one that kind of is more like two different hinges rather than a ball peg. But either way, there we go again saying that. We do get almost the full splits. We get the leg all the way forward, all the way back, no problem at all. We do have a thigh swivel built in, and these skirt pieces can get out of the way, no problem at all. So no problem posing those hips at all. The knee has a double jointed knee. It hinges up here and down in the lower leg, and we get full range of motion, almost 180 straight back. And if you look, just like on the Banshee, the knee itself kind of has a mechanic going on where it collapses in on itself just a little bit, not a whole lot, but it's a nice design and I do appreciate that. Now for the ankle, we have a hinge up here. Does this piece hinge? It still does hinge. I just opened this guy, so I'm not positive if it's exactly the same as the Banshee as we're going through it, but it looks like it so far. So this has a hinge in it, and you can see that thruster back there. This hinge is just to allow for the ankle articulation, and then this inside piece of the ankle is on a small ball peg to get out of the way as well. The ankle itself, we have a ball peg at the top, we have a hinge for the ankle rocker, and then we have a hinge for the toe. So we could have a little bit better. Actually, is there another? I'm not sure. There might be a double hinge for the ankle rocker, but that might just be the ball peg. Not positive. I haven't popped this guy apart. Just like the Banshee though, we don't get quite as much range of motion out of the ankle as I would like. It's probably good enough, but it could have been a little bit better. Bringing that toe up is not as good as I would like. Bringing it down, no problem at all, but bringing it up, pretty limited. It's not a huge deal, but it is kind of an issue if you really want to get some dynamic posing going on. So that's the core of the figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, and we'll be coming back to this guy as we do that. First thing I want to look at is the thruster pack, which is made out of this bluer color from the feet. It does have gunmetal for the thrusters themselves and for the things that hold the beam saber handles. And it has a nice red metallic in there throughout. And that snaps in just like on the Banshee, adds some bulk to the upper body, and looks really snazzy. I love that. I love the contrast on this guy. I think I would have liked it if it was white also. Of course, that's kind of irrelevant, but I do like that the blue is mixed in there. And as I mentioned earlier, he does come with a second V-fin. Use my knife to pop that out. Although it is just another rigid one, so it's just a spare in case you bust it. So be careful. There are no soft ones as we saw with the Banshee. We have it looks like 6 extra hands to go with these original 2. Well, I've already swapped out 1. So we have a fist for either side. So there's the fist for both sides. We do have the white paneling on there, so I appreciate that. We have a gun hand for either side. Then we have the jazz hands for both sides, the kind of flashy posing hands. And then lastly we have, as you would expect, sword holding hands. So anything we need to do, we can get done with this figure. He does come with a shield, and the 2 blades kind of just spin, and we get the nice metallic red on there, and that pops out through the front. You can pop off this lower panel, slide it down a little bit, and now we have the expanded shield. We have a peg hole here for it to go on his arm, and we also have that tab there to be used like that, so that can peg onto his back or on his arm. We have 2 beam saber handles, and these are meant to go on the backpack. so they can just peg on to these little pegs down here. It's very tiny, so be careful. It's fragile and tiny, so give it a little bit of a twist as you put it on to kind of keep the force away from going lateral. So you can see we have the sword handles there. Of course I didn't put them on right, but you can kind of get the idea. And that's hinged as well, so you can put that however you want. Really nice look for this character though. I love having the beam saber handles there. We have two fully ignited beam sabers with a really nice white shading at the base and a really nice translucent clear pink plastic. And the handles are the same. They do pop off. So the handles are the same either down there or on here. I don't know really why we need them to be interchangeable, but we can. They do connect to this part here that folds down. As I mentioned earlier, that little piece that folds down gives him an option to hold the beam saber like that. You can do that on either side, give him kind of a Jedi look with two beam sabers. Jedi? No, not a Jedi. The Apprentice, I think, had two, didn't he? I don't remember. Somebody had two beam sabers, lightsabers in Star Wars, I think. I'm not a big Star Wars guy. So we have those options there. Now we can look at the guns, and he has plenty of guns. We have two of this gun right here, which is okay. It's kind of like a 4-barreled Gatling gun. And this part can spin around, and it has the hinge here. I'm guessing that's just for like a secondary handle. Not positive though. And then this part can move around as well. And then lastly, this piece can come off. Not lastly yet. That piece comes off, and the handle actually comes off and connects like this. And the reason that happens is because you do that to both of these guns, and then you can connect them to make his double-barreled Gatling gun that connects to his forearm. Let's see if I can fold everything the way it needs to go. Like that and like that, I believe. Did I do it right? I think I did. So these connect to the forearm using the tabs. You see that little tab right there, and that tabs in right here on that side, and this one tabs in on the back side. Then they kind of overlap and tab into each other a little bit. It's not very tight though, so you're going to have to be careful with that. So these right here connect like that, but they don't actually connect, so it doesn't really hold it together. So you're going to have to spend some time to get these on just right without popping them off a dozen times, which I've done, and I probably will continue to do. Which way does it go? Like this. Okay, so they're both on there now, and you can see how the double Gatling guns would look just by themselves, which is pretty imposing. But we can also connect the shield to that at the same time. And how we do that is to take this piece. Is that the right one? That's not the right one. This piece right here, and this tabs in to both of these just like that. Really hard to do on camera, but I think we got it. So that goes there, and then the shield goes on there. So now he's got the double Gatling shield, which is super cool. Really nice. The only problem is it does restrict the articulation a little bit because they go pretty far up on the arm, and the shoulder armor gets in the way a little bit, but you can kind of work around it. It's not horrible, and it definitely looks cool, so it's probably worth posing it as you need to get that done, because that's awesome, right? Who doesn't like quad Gatling guns, and then two of them? They're really cool looking, so that's pretty cool. Alright, now we're not done. We have, what is this, the Beam Magnum? I believe that's the Beam Magnum. Starting to forget all the names of these things, it's been a while. So we have the secondary grip there. This grip opens up to slide into his hand and then closes, and you can see the magazine in there. It doesn't come out, but it looks just like the two spare magazines we have that can connect to his back flaps, his butt flaps, however you want to do that, either side. So that's cool. Then we have the Bazooka. I still haven't figured out why they break down like that, but they do. Maybe I should know that, but I don't, unfortunately. We have the kind of pinkish purple sight thingy up there, and then we have the handle. This isn't my favorite handle. I think the whole thing should hinge, but just the grip does. And then it leans forward a little bit so you can get it over his shoulder, and I'll show you that. It's not the easiest thing to get this in through his hand hole. But once you get it in his hand, here, best thing to do, I think, pop the hand off, put the hand on the gun. Still, like I said, I don't know why they made it this way. It's not the easiest thing. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But once you get the hand on the gun, pop the hand back on the arm. And now he's got his bazooka, which does fit fairly nicely over the shoulder. It's not perfect. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's definitely effective. So you've got the bazooka and the double Gatling gun, so that's some heavy firepower. And then we do have the extra magazine for the bazooka, just like the other guns. So he really does have quite a lot of stuff. He can use the blue and red things that came with the standard Unicorn figure. That's what's special about this guy. He's got the extra hard points. I thought he was going to come with the more flashy shield that came with the new version of the Banshee. He didn't. He comes with just the more basic shield, which is okay. It's still probably the best version of the Unicorn Destroy mode, so I'm pretty happy with it. He does have one more piece, two more pieces here. This just goes onto his crotch so that you can use the stand to hold him up. That just slides in over the ridge, as you should know by now. And we have this piece here, which allows the shield to connect to his arm. If you don't have the Gatling guns on there, so that just snaps on like that. And you can do it either way, so the shield can go on the side or the top, and it can go on either arm. So there it is, guys. There's the new Unicorn full destroy mode, full action, full armor version, whatever it is. Check the title. Too many different versions of this guy for me to keep it straight in my head, but I will make sure it's correct in the title. And if you're curious, and if I haven't done it yet, he stands just about 6 inches to the top of the V-fin, a little higher to the top of the beam saber handles, and a little shorter to the top of his actual head. Easily a worthy purchase, but if you're only getting one, I'm gonna have to say that the Banshee is a cooler figure. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.